Today's documentary, The Ghost of Le Griffon, a 340-year mystery. It begins with a silence that stretched for days, then weeks, then across centuries. September 1679. On the southern shore of Lake Michigan, a man paces the beach, his eyes fixed on the empty horizon. His name is René-Robert Cavelier, Sieur de La Salle, one of the most ambitious explorers of the New World. And he is waiting for a ship that will never come. It was called Le Griffon, his ship, a vessel of wood and iron and soaring hope, built with his own fortune and sweat, the first European sailing ship to ever ply the upper Great Lakes. It had sailed away weeks before, carrying a king's ransom in furs and the lives of 6 men. It was supposed to be gone for 10 days. But the lake has swallowed it whole. No wreckage, no bodies, not a single trace. In that moment of dawning horror, La Salle doesn't yet know it, but he has just given birth to the Great Lake's oldest, most persistent ghost. To understand its vanishing, we must first understand the man who willed it into being. René-Robert Cavelier, Sieur de La Salle, born in Rouen, France in 1643. He was a visionary, a man possessed by a single, colossal idea to find a river route through the heart of North America, a northwest passage for France. By 1679, he had already achieved the impossible, building a frontier fort at the Niagara River and supervising the construction of a small vessel above the mighty falls. His grand design required a real ship, one that could dominate the inland seas. On the banks of the Niagara River, near modern-day Buffalo, New York, he ordered its construction. The master carpenter was a man named Moïse Hilaret. The ship was built from local white oak and pine, a 45-ton bark, armed with 7 cannons. La Salle named it Le Griffon, after the mythical winged beast on the coat of arms of his financial backer, Louis de Buade, Comte de Frontenac. In August 1679, with great ceremony, Le Griffon was launched into the Niagara River. Its first voyage was a triumphant passage across Lake Erie, up the Detroit River, and into the vast, uncharted expanse of Lake Huron. La Salle was aboard, along with his loyal lieutenant, Henri de Tonty, a man with an iron prosthetic hand, and a crew of sailors and voyagers. The journey was perilous. They encountered violent storms that made even the seasoned sailors tremble. Father Louis Hennepin, a Recollect friar chronicling the expedition, wrote of waves as high as mountains and a crew driven to prayer. Yet, the sturdy ship prevailed. It was a testament to its build. By early September, they reached Washington Island, at the tip of Wisconsin's Door Peninsula. Here, La Salle made a fateful decision. He needed to send word back to his creditors in Montreal. Aboard Le Griffon was a fortune in furs. He would send Le Griffon back across Lake Michigan and Lake Huron to his base at Niagara to sell the furs and return with supplies and funds. On September 18, 1679, with a crew of 6 men and possibly 2 or 3 Native American passengers, Le Griffon raised its sails. La Salle, Tonty, and the rest of the party watched from shore as their lifeline, their triumph, their fortune, diminished to a speck on the horizon and vanished. Back on Washington Island, the wait began. Every sunrise brought an empty lake. Every sunset deepened the dread. After several weeks, with no sign of his ship, La Salle could wait no longer. His own expedition was stalled, his men growing restless. He made a desperate choice to continue his journey south, exploring the Illinois River, while leaving Tonty behind to wait for Le Griffon's return. Tonty waited until November, braving the onset of the brutal lake winter. Finally, with ice forming, he was forced to abandon his post. The news he carried south to La Salle was the confirmation of a nightmare. Le Griffon was gone. For La Salle, this was a catastrophic, multi-layered blow. Financially, it was ruinous. The lost furs represented his entire liquidity. He immediately suspected the worst, not of the lake, but of men. He believed the pilot, Luke, might have been bribed by his enemies, rival merchants from Montreal. He theorized the crew had scuttled the ship, made off with the furs, and fled into the wilderness. But the lake itself offered a more immediate and equally plausible culprit: the autumn storms of the Great Lakes. A ship laden with a heavy, shifting cargo of bulky furs, manned by a small crew, would have been dangerously top-heavy and vulnerable. A single rogue wave, a sudden microburst of wind, could have capsized it in moments, sending it to the bottom with such speed it would leave no debris field. Yet, the complete absence of any trace, no spar, no crate, not a single beaver pelt washing ashore, struck many as strange. This absence fed the other persistent theory, conflict. The late 1600s were a time of intense intertribal warfare and shifting alliances with the French. Was Le Griffon, a potent symbol of French power, attacked by a war party? Did the crew, perhaps trying to put in to shore for shelter, encounter a hostile group? Some fragmented stories, passed down through generations, hinted at a ship destroyed by fire near the shores of what is now Manitoulin Island. La Salle himself became the first dedicated hunter for his lost ship. Even as he pressed on with his legendary journey to the mouth of the Mississippi in 1682, the ghost of Le Griffon haunted him. In 1680, while stranded and desperate in Illinois, he heard a rumor from a native informant. Men resembling his crew were living among a tribe far to the east. He embarked on a grueling, 1,000-mile cross-country trek in the dead of winter, a journey of sheer willpower and suffering. He found nothing. The rumor evaporated like mist. It was a crushing wild goose chase that wasted precious energy and time. La Salle's story ends not on the Great Lakes, but in the forests of Texas in 1687, murdered by his own mutinous men. For over a century, the story faded into legend, a campfire tale told by fur traders and settlers. The Great Lakes swallowed thousands of ships, but Le Griffon was always the first, the original ghost. Then, in the modern era, the hunt began anew. The advent of scuba diving and sonar technology turned the mystery from a legend into a treasure hunt. The first major claim came in 1898, when a lighthouse keeper named Albert Cullis reported finding wreckage near Poverty Island. The 20th century became a parade of hopeful discoverers, each with a theory and a set of coordinates. The most famous and controversial hunter is Steve Libbard, a diver who has spent over 3 decades and his life savings on the search. In 2001, using historical research and side-scan sonar, he located what he believed was a buried ship's masthead, a spar, sticking out of the clay bottom in northern Lake Michigan. His claim ignited legal battles with the state of Michigan and academic disputes with archaeologists. The site was examined. A long timber was partially excavated in 2015, but definitive proof, like the unique carving of a griffin, remains elusive. Every potential clue dissolves into ambiguity. A piece of wood could be from any of hundreds of wrecks. A sonar shadow is just a shadow, and the theories have evolved with the technology. Some researchers posit that La Salle's initial suspicion was correct. The ship never attempted the return voyage across open lake. Others delve into the native oral histories with renewed respect, cross-referencing old stories with geological surveys. The search itself has become a kind of mirror to La Salle's obsession. Modern divers speak of the Griffin curse. Men have gone bankrupt, partnerships have shattered. The wreck, if it exists intact, is not just a historical artifact. It is a time capsule from the very dawn of the European presence in the American heartland. It holds the tools, the possessions, and possibly the skeletons of those 6 souls. It is the physical answer to a 340-year-old question. Why does this single, small ship matter so much? Its value is not in gold, but in symbolism. Le Griffon was a punctuation mark in history. Its construction announced European technological ambition on an inland sea. Its disappearance announced the limits of that ambition, the supreme, indifferent power of the wilderness. For us today, in an age where every inch of the globe is mapped and surveilled, Le Griffon represents the last great unknown of the freshwater seas. It is a reminder that beneath the placid summer surface of Lake Michigan lies a cold, dark, and profoundly mysterious world, a graveyard of stories. The divers will keep searching. The sonar will keep pinging. Historians will keep sifting the archives for one missed clue. Because Le Griffon is more than a shipwreck. It is the original ghost ship, the first vessel to sail into the mist of legend on these inland oceans. It is a promise that somewhere in the silent, dark mud, history is waiting, intact, daring us to find it. Until we do, the ghost of La Salle's magnificent folly will continue to sail on, forever on the horizon, forever just out of reach. The silence that began the story stretches on, a silence of deep water and unanswered questions. And somewhere below, in the cold and the dark, the Great Lake keeps its secret. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, please subscribe to our channel. We bring you fascinating documentaries on history, science, civilizations, mysteries, and the untold stories that shaped our world. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss a new release. See you in the next one.